What looks to be a regular Nerf Desolator actually does this.
You're now tuned into pSyk's weekly Nerf dosage.
Hey, what's up good people? Welcome to episode 143 of Pwned. This episode is all about my modified Full-Auto Nerf Desolator, but there is a little bit of a story to it. First of all, I want to give a big shout out to Tungsten EXE. I'm just gonna call you Tungsten because I don't know if I'm supposed to say EXE or executable or execute, so I'll just say Tungsten. Tungsten is an awesome Singaporean nerfer. He actually runs a YouTube channel as well. I will link his channel in the video description below. And I was actually inspired to do this mod because of his channel. And he does other stuff too. Like ever since I made that Atlas MP101 Strife, and I mentioned to you guys that I kind of wanted something that I could adjust the ROF of a full auto blaster, Tungsten went ahead and did it. So, really good modding skills. And on top of being just good with wiring and stuff, his work is, in my opinion, really clean. I've never seen someone take so much time to spend, cleaning up the shell, taking extra steps to add more details to it, and I think it's really awesome, and that's his style of modding, and I see a very good, strong potential in his mod skills. So definitely a big shout out to Tungsten, because if not for you, I wouldn't even, really want to go ahead and do this mod. So here's a little backstory for you guys. When the Desolator was released here in Singapore, I think we might have been the first in the world, I think. A couple of nerfers from overseas actually contacted me, asked me to help get them one of these Desolators. And I was a little bit busy, so I kind of referred them over to Newbie, and Newbie was kind enough to help out. However, due to some miscommunication issues, Newbie actually went to Toys R Us, got himself a few of these Desolators, and then brought them over to the post office to get them weighed in for shipping. And the thing about shipping in Singapore is that it's really expensive. Now the Desolator costs almost $60 if I'm not wrong. I think it was $59.90 or something like that. But on average it's about 60 bucks, 60 Singapore dollars. Made Test Battle were actually some of the people that wanted a Desolator for themselves. So Newbie actually brought a Desolator inbox over to the post office and weighed it in, and the shipping cost from here to Australia for a Desolator is a whopping $60 as well. So it's double the price and it's totally not worth the money. So because it didn't make sense, a couple of them pulled out, a couple of them still got it shipped anyway, but because I'm down with MTB, I decided, I didn't want this to go to waste, because not everyone was gonna spend 60 bucks for a reshelled Strife. I went ahead and I kind of took it off their hands and I bought it from Newbie instead, so that, Newbie wouldn't be stuck with the brand new inbox Desolator like that. And I was lying at home for a little while, and that was during the period when the XSW kit just first, came up onto the scene, and I had my first experience with the XSW kit in my Strife, and I was thinking, this kit is really handy. I think I would want to try and make a full auto Desolator. And after I purchased this thing, I didn't really have the time to go ahead and do that mod. Other things happened and I was working on other videos as well. Then Tungsten's video popped out of nowhere, and it was a very detailed tutorial video on how to make your Nerf Desolator a full auto Nerf Desolator using the XSW kit. And I was really surprised, so I checked the video out and I was very impressed by the quality of the video. His explanation is really detailed, and I was like, wow, this guy took the time and explained everything, much like how I would do, but I believe that he did it better than I did. So, much respect to that. And it really motivated me to want to go ahead and do one of these mods. So I ordered myself a new XSW kit. I ordered a new pair of flywheels and a new pair of Rhino motors. So this is running on MTB Rhino motors. It's got a worker flywheel setup as well as the XSW kit. It's running currently on a 2S LiPo in this part over here, and I will skip all that banter because now you know the story already. I'm just going to show you my slipshot or not so clean version of how I made the full auto conversion for the Nerf Desolator. Check it out. This, everyone, is my Doomlands Desolator full auto mod, and of course I already mentioned it before, but I'll mention it again. It was inspired by Tungsten EXE. So big ups to you, Tungsten, a fellow Singaporean nerfer. He was the first person that I actually saw to use the XSW kit in a blaster that is not for the Strife. So he actually used it in the Desolator and made it a full auto blaster, and basically did the same. This brown thing over here is hot glue, but yeah, we'll just get into more details from there. Obviously, his is way better than mine. I just went for a very simple route, and let me explain it to you from the front, shall we? So here is as usual, standard flywheel cage. the stock Desolator flywheel cage. I'm using a pair of worker flywheels, as you guys can see. I'm running a pair of Rhino motors, but you know, it's meant to be a 2S system. Of course, we can overvolt it to 3S. Then we have the standard wiring over here that goes around here, and underneath this wiring line over here, or the original cover over here, goes all the way up and behind. And for this part, I actually went for a very simple route. Instead of going for the same setup as the full auto strife that I did, that featured an electronic safety lock, but this one is a mechanical safety lock, so I kept this part in place. Alright, so basically you can't squeeze this trigger unless you have the rev switch down, then you can move the trigger. Alright, that actually simplifies the circuitry a lot. Now, I actually wanted to go for the step checker thing, where it would make sure that the this pusher piece will be sitting all the way back each time you release the trigger, but you guys can see that it's not happening right here, and that's because the honest truth is I was running out of micro switches, so I didn't really want to do it in this system. But anyway, it's not really much of a difference, you know, whether you have it or not, in my opinion, for this blaster or this use. But of course, in other setups, you know, you might want to have it there, but just not for this guy, not for me, not right now. So yeah, you know, it's really up to you. It's entirely your choice. Alright, so moving on, we'll continue from the battery lead. So you can see there are 2 positive and 2 negatives going out. These are actually parallel out to this circuit and this circuit as well. So this switch over here is going to the flywheels, and this switch over here is to activate this motor, which is the pusher motor. So it's very simple. Both of them have motor braking, and basically that's that. This micro switch over here is gooped into place, and yes, I use goop, and I also goop the cover down. That's because I want to be able to just remove it easily. In fact, I find it easier to remove goop than it is to remove hot glue. However, for this system over here, this one is gooped into place, but this guy over here, I use hot glue, and the reason why is because hot glue, number one, it cools down faster and it cures faster than goop would. Number two is because I was going to use a lot of it. As you guys can see, I already hot glued this little original screw pot down, and that's actually holding this whole thing in place. You know, I just wanted it to be a bit more secure. So the tricky part was actually lining this guy up, and well, I guess it's good that this guy is halfway engaged, so I can kind of just show you guys. So it would push this fella all the way to the end, so that's right here at the wall before disengaging and going back. So when it catches on for the first tooth, alright, so that's right there. I'm gonna just push this guy forward, so you'll see that it actually lines up to the last tooth right there. And that's really what I want, because I want maximum you know, travel for this pusher piece over here. So that's actually very simple. I don't really have to go into diagrams because I believe that you guys already know what's going on. Then I have a hole over here, and this slot is basically to let this XT60 connector go through. You know, so it's going to show on the other side. And I actually have a 2S battery. Basically, this XT60 connector is going to be up here. So how I decided to have the battery to be seated in is to be from the inside, of course, this way. So battery will be up here and wires will be on top. So this wire, you know, this connector will be on top like this. So that's how it's going to sit on the flip side. Hopefully that's simple enough for you guys to understand. Now, I did build some spacers here and there. As you can see, there's a little bit of a spacer over here and another spacer over here, because, you know, this guy wasn't going to sit perfectly, and where I got these spacers were actually from the other holder piece. This holder piece actually was supposed to help you hold this whole motor, or this whole pusher system, into your strife, and because this is not a strife shell, it wasn't going to fit, so I decided to use this as a spacer material instead. So I cut this off, and it's very brittle, so it easily broke off, and I just kind of hot glued these in place. So that basically solves my problem. So the next thing I want to point out to you guys is that in his video, Tungsten also pointed out that he added a little bit of any kind of scrap material to add you know, a bit of length to the pusher, because his pusher wasn't pushing the darts far enough, and that's exactly what I did here as well. This is just a little bit of foam. I believe it's some kind of a furniture bumper foam, but I just cut it down to, you know, to size, and just, you know, using the double-sided adhesive tape that actually came with it, just for testing purposes. So let's just try this out on camera. And you guys already know how the battery is supposed to sit, but I'm just going to connect it like this, you know, just for this demonstration. Alright, so just going to show you guys how this thing works before I actually add a clip into the whole equation. So you notice that you can't pull the trigger unless you have the rev switch depressed, which will deactivate this lock over here. So you can see, first you got to rev it up, then you're able to pull the trigger, and you get that whole full auto action going on. So I have here a Desolator clip filled with 6 of these Lily Arms darts, or you could call it the V3 rainbow nipple darts, because these are kind of like vinyl, you know, tips. So yeah, I got 6 of these and I'll just load them up. And because, oh, I'm sorry guys, I hit the camera, my bad. And because this whole blaster is actually half open, I have to hold it down in place. So I'll be activating the switches with my right hand, and I'll be holding this down in my left hand instead. So I'll just shift it maybe this way because I don't want to hit tripod so much. And okay, right here. So this is good. Hopefully you guys can actually see. Let me just tilt the camera a little bit to the left so you can see if the darts come out. Here we go. Perfect, all 6 darts out, absolutely no jams whatsoever. And yeah, this one bounced back and hit us. So I have actually something over here that's blocking. That's why the darts just bounce back and ricochet back straight away. So this is it. This is my version of the Full-Auto Desolator. I hope you guys like it. And once again, big ups to Tungsten. Go check him out. His version of this thing is way more detailed and way more effort put in than I have, okay? But yeah, his is just really, really clean. Mine is just a huge mess. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next part of the video. Bye! Welcome back. I hope this thing isn't like distracting to you guys. I don't even know if it's reflecting much because I kind of see like a white light in my camera lens reflection. I'm not able to see the screen. So I apologize if this thing has been shining and irritating you guys. I really am sorry. Right, so you've seen what I've done to this guy. And I still believe that Tungsten did a better job than I did. You know, my mod isn't as clean as his. Watching his video definitely gave me a better understanding of the shell and the space and what you could do and not do with it. So this was my own way of it, you know, using hot glue, and the positioning might not be exactly the same as his. I also ran the wire slightly different, and I also used the stock battery tray, but not at the back over here. So, you know, slight variants and slight differentiations. But I'm gonna give you guys a quick firing demonstration using the beautiful Desolator clip. Now, the Desolator clip, in my opinion, is one of the nicest Nerf clips ever. You know, the detailing on it and the styling of it is just absolutely awesome. And I have loaded it up with 10 V3 nipple darts, aka the Lily Arms darts. Alright, here we go. Just this guy goes in and high rate of fire. Let's just go. No jams whatsoever, and I'm very, very happy with the performance right now. This thing is definitely very, very interesting. I like the way it looks, honestly, and I think it's actually pretty comfortable. It's just a little bit pricey for what it is. 60 bucks for this blaster off the shelf, plus all the other, you know, internals like the XSW kit, the flywheels and the motors and the wires and all the work you have to do is just a little bit on the expensive side when you could do technically the same thing with a Nerf Strife. So that was my Nerf Desolator, guys. I don't know what I would do with this guy. I'm not gonna paint it because, you know, I'm gonna keep it in stock form first. I think it looks good this way, and there's a possibility that I might also sell this off because I have way too many blasters and I already have my go-to blasters in terms of the full auto flywheel system. So this guy was a very fun mod. You know, procrastinated a little bit, and then I had to wait extra long for the, you know, accessories and stuff. So anyway, I got it done finally, and I'm very, very pleased with the result. Now, the last thing I want to share with you guys about this is from the time when I actually filmed the internals till now, I actually widened this slot a little bit more. In here now is a 2S LiPo, and originally it could fit. It's just that I wanted a little bit more space. Prior to this, it was a real snug fit, so I actually widened this slot over here at the bottom, and I also widened the slot at the top. Let me just try and show it to you guys. So you just flip it out like this. So it's a lot easier, and you can see that my connectors are kind of like this. So they sit on top now, like that, and then you just kind of slide the battery into place. Like so. So it's really, really simple. You know, you don't have to fumble too much. And also, I grinded down the ridges here on the shell because there were ridges that would actually help to, you know, curve around the AA batteries and help them sit in place better. But I grinded everything down, so that's that. And you know, this is how it fits. Completely flat and flush, just the way I like it. And that brings us to the end of this episode, guys. Thank you so much for sticking all the way throughout. Thank you so much for the support. And by the time this video is released, the closing date for my giveaway is already over. So, you know, in the meantime, whoever was able to enter, good luck. And I will be giving you guys the giveaway winner video very soon, so stay tuned for that. So if you guys like this video, I hope you guys give me a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, I hope you guys consider subscribing because that would help me out a lot. Also, I've started using the new YouTube end cards, or like end video or something like that instead of annotation, so you can actually see like a subscribe button, and then it might be here, I don't know, and then there's another like 2 videos that I want to recommend at the end of every episode, so I think that kind of helps a little bit. Yeah, and I'm sorry if this thing keeps getting in your way. I apologize, and I think I have to readjust my lights a little bit in order to not let that happen again. Sorry if it does. Thank you for putting up with me. Till the next episode, guys, drills pay the bills and teamwork makes the dream work. I'll catch you there.